Welcome to the Ascension Alchemists podcast. My name is Michael Abramson, and this is my solo episode, which I am so very excited to celebrate this week with all of you in my birthday 50th year of great wisdom, great experience, and most important, the opportunity to share this monumental event with all of you. For stay tuned as I will be sharing some beautiful, exciting announcements, as well as just the opportunity of reflecting of what I've really felt these 50 years have provided me so it can give a greater levels of consciousness and awareness, because I feel most of us right now are moving through so many changes, so many levels of shifting. And one of the greatest areas that I've learned in these 50 years, as I turned 50, I've truly realized that our natural born prosperity, our God-given right, is not how much we've accumulated, but how much we already have within us. And that's where I want to start today, because life is a celebration. You are a celebration. And I'm so grateful for all the listeners that are out there tuning in to this episode, because I feel it's going to be very valuable. It's going to be very important to just to hear these words, because we don't hear enough of how important it is to celebrate ourselves, the wins, the areas that we can elevate in our self-confidence, our self-growth, our self-evolution. And that's one thing to celebrate. And one area that I feel this culture does not give too much awareness is that ability to celebrate the prosperity and peace. And not so much what we're accumulating from the outside in the material world, but what we recognize that we have already within us. Because in these 5 decades, I've realized there is such an internal magnificence within us that is ready to give everything we possibly want. Yet the secret is turning the inner eye, the inner awareness, to what wants to be seen, versus looking outwardly and being, let's just say, distracted of what the outer world wants to create for us. We all know that our inner world creates our outer world. And so as we move through these days, just ask yourself at this moment, how can I create more prosperity and peace? Because that's a subject that I feel so important. When I say, how can I create more prosperity and peace? How can I align myself with the divine? Because have you ever wondered what is keeping me away from my natural level of peace? What has blocked me from that area? So these are some questions I'd like to throw out. The most important, welcome each and every one of you around the world, around the country. I'm just thanking you, thanking all of those that have journeyed this path, whether you've just heard about me for the first time, you've known me for 30, 40, maybe 50 years, my mother, of course. And just this journey that we get to share, because the one thing I appreciate about this podcast is we really get to bring forth a level of connection. And we're so thankful for each and every one of you to take the time to tune in, to listen, and to bring forth this remembrance, because many times of what we share and what I'm sharing tonight is an activation for you to remember. And if there's one thing that I've really noticed in this remembrance is with each year and each age as we evolve, we're becoming wiser. And even though our outer culture looks at getting older, may not deem as popular as getting younger, I'm actually feeling quite young moving into my 5th decade. It's interesting. If you were to look at me right now and I look at myself in the mirror, I'm like, I don't even feel like I'm 50. I feel like I could be 30 and roll in the snow, in the mud any day of the week. Sometimes I ask myself, what am I going to do when I really grow up? because I feel like I'm such a inner child playing in this game of life. Yet it still keeps coming back to me of what can be done to enjoy this life, what I can do to evolve in this life at a greater level. Because as many of you know, I'm so passionate about growth, evolution, and really becoming the greatest version of myself, which is already here. And today, I find as I sit several days before my 50th birthday, the one area that I find has been so instrumental in this journey is peace, the energy of peace. Why do I say that? It's because for many of you that know me, when I'm in your presence or I'm in that vibrational field, there's this natural peace that evolves through me. Many people call me a gentle giant. Many people see that there is this kind, soft, huge frequency that moves through me. And I feel it resonates with what is carrying through me and what connects us all. And that is that alignment with the divine, because that truly is peace. When we look at our body and when we live in full alignment in homeostasis, it's a state of peace. Our heart operates at its greatest form in peace. Our lungs, our internal organs. And so that's where I'd like to start, because when we really look at it, when we find peace in our central nervous system, we're able to operate at our fullest capacity. Yet it takes the greatest level of work and mastery, because outside of us, there seems to be lots of factors, distractions, or worldly events that do not create peace to our central nervous system because of all of the chaos or what we see within as triggers of reactions that seem anything like peace. For example, what's happening in the world now? With all these uprisings, whether it's in Iran, whether in Venezuela, whether in America. I don't like to really speak about politics, nor will I ever on this channel. I just draw the awareness of all these uprisings that are happening. And what happens if all these uprisings are helping us remember that when we can create peace within in our central nervous system, then we don't have to react in a way that's triggering all of this, what I would call external war, through our emotions, through our behavior, through our patterns. And that's what I've noticed in 50 years. What I've kept growing deeper in is if I can control my inner world based on the peace that I want to accumulate, then the outer world doesn't have to have an impact on me. Just imagine that your job was to wake up and focus on the peace within you each and every day. For right now, there are these amazing monks that are getting ready to finish their journey. They've walked up to 100 days from Texas, and they'll be ending their journey in a week and a half in DC. And each day they walk for peace, demonstrating what it is that this world, what we are truly made of. And last night, Honey and I, we were listening to one of their gatherings at University of Richmond. And one of the master monks says, the greatest thing that you can do when you wake up is to declare that today I start my day with peace. I claim that within myself. Now just imagine if you could start every day, you can start each and every day with claiming your peace. You could take each moment to say, I am going to start my day with peace, so that the monkey mind or any other default vibration, feeling, pattern, or past nature doesn't have to dictate. And you begin just by declaring peace. As Thich Nhat Hanh said, peace in every step. And if you look at the greatest masters, they declared peace as their natural sovereignty. Now, what happens if that becomes our natural, prosperous state? Many of us look at prosperity as money or finances, yet what happens when we can be prosperous in peace? Because once we are aligning to that peace, embodying to that peace, then we are able to move through any storm. And isn't it interesting, in the middle of any major storm, there's this eye. Within a hurricane, there's this stillness in it. And for one that has gone through a category, one of the greatest hurricanes you can imagine that we diminished in Florida, and to sit in the middle of the eye and to feel that peace and calmness gives the greatest awareness that when we can sit in any eye of the storm, just like these monks walk through snowstorms, frigid temperatures, and walk in peace, then nothing can affect us on the outside. How do you feel when you hear that? How does it feel that when we can attain and attune our inner peace within us, then we don't have to be thrown around on the outside? Because for me, that has been my natural journey into coming into this 50th year. Learning and seeing that the more I'm in control of myself with peace as my prosperous state of being, then I don't have to worry what's happening around me because I'm already strong as an ox, as an oak tree, grounded in this moment. Because the natural state of myself is already flowing through me. That divine state is already moving. Yet if I'm not in peace, or if I'm in a dysregulated nervous system, I am actually not even in control because everything outside of me is having an impact. So doesn't that actually give you the inspiration or even greater motivation to see how can I cultivate that peace with him? How can I start my day as peace becomes my natural state of being, and then I want to now live that? It can all start with the breath, and then going into meditation, and then calming our central nervous system, and then allowing ourselves to then declare throughout the day that today, my day is peaceful. Because what you say and what you declare is what the mind creates for you. And so I find in these moments how crucial it is to bring that peace in, and then most important, celebrate it. Because as we celebrate it, we actually amplify that energy through us. And many times we can unconsciously celebrate, or what I would say, give attention to areas that we don't want. Those areas that are difficult or challenging because they make the central headlines within our mind and our attention. So that's why it's so important to override those headlines, those stories that want to pop out, what's going wrong, what's happening in the world, who said this, oh my gosh, that happened, and take a pause and saying, okay, my natural state is peace. I'm going to celebrate that so I can be like a hot air balloon and rise above it all and not let that affect me. Imagine your journey was to create enough peace in yourself that nothing could affect you and you are untouchable, unshakable, and that you actually anchor your divine truth by walking that and being that. Could you just imagine that for once? That nothing could affect you because you're already declaring what you are. That natural, prosperous level of peace. And the prosperity that works around the peace. The prosperity of joy, the prosperity of happiness, the prosperity of love, the prosperity of all that grows around it. Because if peace is the ground and is the foundation that we set within us, imagine what grows out of peace. And imagine what your day would look like if that peaceful foundation could be set, and then your emotions, thoughts, and feelings rise out of that. Because we sure know what happens when the opposite occurs. When the foundation is set on fear, insecurity, what comes out of that? Stress, worry, anxiety, depression, helplessness, hopelessness. And that's okay too. That's just another variable of how we're moving back to wholeness, because if we did not know those, we would not appreciate what our natural state of being is. So I always come back to there's no right or wrong, good or bad. We're experiencing as conscious beings and allowing this essence of divinity to come within us and to show us what it is to live in our natural God state being. And that, to me, ever since I was a child, felt like how important, how incredible, how necessary and extraordinary it is to allow that peace to be our true state. Our true state that we can co-create. So for today, whether you're listening to this in the morning or the afternoon, where can you start peace in your day? How can you, whether it's through affirmations, whether it's just placing your hands in gratitude and thanking the peace within each breath. Thank you, peace, for guiding me through this day. And feeling what it'd be like lying in a kayak on a river or in the ocean, or lying in a beautiful valley, or being on top of a mountain, or being in beautiful nature and just feeling the exuberance amount of peace, and breathe that in. Listening to beautiful music, surrounding yourself with just the creations of life that create peace. That's a possibility right now. To engage into that, to feel that, and to merge into that, because that possibility brings forth what I feel is our next level of expansion. And that is the peace that creates the prosperity that opens up to what I feel are all the gifts that are within us. Because what I recognize is this prosperous state of consciousness that is rooted in peace is so much more than what this mind understands. There's so much within us that's right now awaiting for us to open and to share and to serve. And for many that are listening that know that they're here to do so much more than maybe what their jobs or relationships or career or life has shown them, this prosperity consciousness that evolves through peace is now showing you the way that's going to open parts of you that are going to truly blow you away, because it's been doing this to me for many years. I thought my 40s were one of the greatest decades of learning. I'm just now entering my 5th decade, and I feel like I'm still just grazing the surface of what's before me. Knowing that that inner world, that invisible world, there's so much of the unknown that is ready to be fully created on the outside. And yet to interact with that inner world, it requires that peace and stillness to understand, and going beyond the mind, beyond the thoughts, beyond the feelings, and seeing that everything that we truly need, everything that we want to have is already within us. So now it becomes our nature to connect with that, which I call the divine, universe, source, our God Almighty presence. And as we know that as God fills the card to run, as we eat and consume to allow energy to build our greatest, healthiest systems, I know peace is becoming the major ingredient for us to evolve in the joy and happiness. For there may be many nice white wisdom hairs on my face, but as I look at my head and all the darkness, I know that the peace of my mind that has evolved through each year has given me this youthful, vivacious, incredible way of being. Because I keep coming back to, wow, how enjoyable peace feels, how relaxing it feels, how nourishing it feels, how rejuvenating it feels, versus fear, versus stress. Because when you really think about it, feel about it, imagine about it, don't you believe that peace is really the preferred state of being? And as that preferred state of being, isn't it amazing that in stillness, what can come out of creation? Easier said than done, obviously, in the sense of what we're living right now, yet not impossible. The mind will find every excuse to distract peace because the mind wants to stay in control. And this beautiful monkey mind will pretend that there may be every ounce of distraction or excuse not to be in peace. And that's okay too. That it now becomes an awareness by letting that go and once again dropping into the breath to realize that's what the body wants in its co-creation of what we're here to do and what we're here to illuminate and what we're here to fully allow through ourselves. The prosperity and peace that we give ourselves the opportunity to fully recognize is one of the greatest celebrations that I have fully received upon this 50th year. And as I celebrate that with all of you, I'm excited to even bring greater levels within celebration of our beautiful online association. For Honey and I are leading monthly an amazing prosperity mentorship that goes much grander and greater than what we know of prosperity, and allowing these universal keys, these laws to come forth so that our prosperity and our consciousness now can evolve. And for those that may be interested, it might be the most incredible investment that you would ever make. Only $188, in which we present at the end of the month, the last Wednesday of the month, which the link will be placed at the bottom of this episode, where you will be mentored with a group of amazing individuals of our association, as well as those that want to take part of this class outside of our association, has what I felt drawn a greater level of awareness, a greater level of what prosperity is here for us beyond our finances, but into a consciousness that can allow us to receive everything that we put our heart, mind, and soul to. So that link will be placed forward. As well, with the celebration that I feel with prosperity, we also, for those that want to join our Ascension Alchemy Association, we have a celebration circle that I lead, in which it's an emotion of gratitude and energy that we get to evolve and move as together, as one community, because as one celebrates, and two and three, we support each other. And with this week, I'm excited to celebrate because it would be quite selfish to do this all by myself if I didn't have all of you wonderful listeners, beautiful friends and family, to bring in this 50th birthday with some great wonder, joy, and what I always find, adventure. So for those that are listening, I'm going to throw out some beautiful, wonderful, amazing gifts, because what's worth celebrating if we don't all receive gifts? For those that are listening, I'm going to do a raffle, and all you have to do is send a comment. I'm going to give a free online Zoom healing, a most incredible session for most of my clients. For those that would like to register for a free raffle online Zoom healing, please comment to this wonderful Zoom, this beautiful podcast, not Zoom, but podcast that's allowing the opportunity for you now to be placed in there, because that will give an graciousness to receive what I like to celebrate, and that is you, and that is the art of receiving, because for me, I love to give as much as I love to receive. As well, this Saturday or Friday, depending where we land, as we fly out tomorrow for a magical adventure, I will also be doing another special episode on my Facebook Live, Michael Abramson on Facebook, and presenting more gifts, more celebrations. You know, life right now may seem very challenging and very difficult for a lot of us that are shifting to our greatest versions. Yet when we can come back and step back and align to what's already within us, there becomes a whole new way of how we choose to live. And many of us have been indoctrinated and live by fear and live by challenge and stress. Yet each day when we can just peel the layer back and move into a level of peace and happiness and joy, then our natural prosperity opens up to our greatest and fullest potential. And each of us have that. And as we live in higher levels of peace and prosperity, it then elevates us to then naturally express our divine gifts within us, elevating ourselves to move into even greater and higher moments of abundance, which is our natural inheritance. It's an evolution that we keep activating within ourselves. And as we move through these areas and expand, we start to see that everything is already within us. And all we have to do is literally recognize, realize, and bring forth what we have always known. Is to come back to that heart, come back to our love, and come back to that peace that is within us. And that's what I really have noticed within these 50 years, almost 50 come Sunday, February 7th, Saturday, the 7th of February, and giving that opportunity to remember that it's already within, and that it's one breath, one step, and one acknowledgement that this can be fully activated with our intention. And we have many, many beings that are arising into that right now. And as we gather as a co-collective, moving into a higher vibration, this becomes our natural state. And then just imagine what your day starts and ends when peace becomes our natural state. So I thank each and every one of you for joining this celebrational podcast. And if I can just remind all of you, as you take this message, what would happen if you just breathe that feeling of peace in and breathe that feeling of peace out? And you continue that with 10 more breaths of breathing that peace in and breathing that peace out. And continuing it even deeper as you breathe that deep level of peace in and breathe that deep level of peace out. And noticing how lighter, how softer, and how better you feel in this moment, in this opportunity to celebrate that this prosperity and peace gives the greatest and highest truth, authenticity to your soul, because that's what you truly are. And that's what I truly want to celebrate with all of you in this week of celebration. To remind us, to remind you, to even remind myself, at any moment, we can come back into peace. We can come back into breath. And that starts now in the presence, without going to the past or future, and staying in there and just focusing attentively and continually remembering that peace is our natural state. And then when peace grows and expands in our central nervous system, it becomes in every state of our blood and our breath and our cells and our heart. And then we thrive and align and embody the greatest version of ourselves that we are here to be. Peace in action. So thank you all for joining this most beautiful birthday celebration. I'm excited. At the end of the month, on the 26th of February, I once again will be bringing forth the great brotherhood of the conscious of all men, as well our wonderful prosperity mentorship that'll be on the last Wednesday of the month. And for those that want to once again join the raffle of a free online Zoom healing session, please comment and place your name below and follow the journey of celebration the journey of joy and peace, because as we know, this is what we're here to cultivate and to be. And I share that blessing of peace upon each and every one of you. Blessing that this finds where you are in this moment, so that you can remember this is who you are and what you naturally have within you. So my blessings of peace, my blessings of life, and most important, my blessings of deepest gratitude for joining this birthday celebration episode and remembering the prosperity of the peace. As we have infinite levels of breath before we rise to our next creation, we have infinite levels of peace. And that starts now. And I thank you for remembering that and to engaging that, and most important, spreading that in each step upon this most precious life. Once again, thank you all for being here and sending so much love and many blessings to you all.